Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast. Thank you so much for checking in with a brand new episode. Today's features the Mercs. Thanks for tuning in. I took a little break. I'm back, brand new episode, and I'm so glad to be hanging out today with the Mercs, talking about their brand new record and album release party Saturday night, July 1st. At Red Flag, and you're going to hear all about it and the new record and everything else on today's episode. Hope you enjoy it. I do want to remind you, as always, Rock Paper Podcast is brought to you by Friendship Brewing Company in Wentzville, Missouri, serving up all your craft beer needs with over 25 rotating taps out there. Sure to got a beverage just right for you. Swing in and check it out. They got some delicious food, all kinds of tasty eats out there, burgers and nachos and flatbread pizzas. But this week you can come out Wednesday. They got a fried buffalo chicken sandwich at the Caboose Kitchen. On Thursday night, they've got Singo Bingo night featuring girl power songs from Aretha Franklin, Shania Twain, Madonna, The Supremes, and much more. And it's ladies' night, $1 off all your Friendship Brewing beers all night long. And on Friday night, my good friend Denver Wade Trent returns out there playing 7 to 10. And Saturday night, Matt Walterscheid will be out there. And Sunday, 1 to 4, Josh Littig. You can find their full concert calendar, beer menu, food menu, and everything else at friendshipbrewingcompany.com. I'll get plugged in with them on Facebook and Instagram as well. And if you haven't been out to the brand new location, come on out on over the weekend, Friday and Saturday hours between 12 and 11 at the Flint Hill location for the brand new brewery out there for Friendship Brewing Company. Come check it out all through July, and then big grand opening party set for July 29th. And if you need anything else from me, feel free to hit me up at rockpaperpodcast.com. You can find me on the socials. Email me, rockpaperpodcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. And with that out of the way, sit back, relax, and enjoy a brand new episode with the Mercs.
Podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio. It's on the internet. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. Yeah. That's also like my mom. It makes it sound more confusing, doesn't it? It sounds like this.
Hey, this is Tazoo from the Mercs. You're listening to Rock Paper Podcast. Don't you know it?
Rock Paper Podcast.
Scissors beat paper, paper covers rock. Rock beats scissors, Shane covers non-stop. Never know what new kind of guest that he's got coming at you. Live and direct on the spot. Could be rock, folk, country, or hip-hop, jazz. All kind of folks that he has. Could be an artist or a comedian to make you laugh on the
Rock Paper Podcast.
double-decker fudge round, rolling round town. Shane coming at you live and direct from ground zero. He's your hero, he's your bestie. Rock Paper Podcast with Shane Presley.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri. Hanging out today at Clayton Studios with the Mercs.
The Mercs.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, guys.
Cheers. Cheers. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. I guess before we get going too far, will you guys please introduce yourselves for everybody listening so we know your voices?
Would you like to go ahead? You go ahead.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jeffrey Kuhn, but everybody calls me JK.
And what do you do?
Oh, I play the electric guitar and sing in the Mercs.
All right. My name's Tazu Marshall. I play bass. I help out with the vocals a little bit, and I run errands and stuff.
All right.
And I'm Gus Nanos. I play drums.
That sounded exactly like
That's
it.
how
Right.
uncanny.
I thought he was here for a minute. Huh?
Poor guy had to work. He didn't get to have any fun tonight.
Yeah.
So instead, we're gonna make fun of him really
Sure.
bad and trash him a little bit.
That's what happens,
course.
man.
Yep,
Those are the
he
rules.
deserves it.
Yep.
Should have called off.
We can also make him look cooler than he really is since he's not here.
Good think about it.
Yeah.
Well, this is very exciting for me. I mean, this is why I continue to do this show. And, it's just fun for me to continually, 9 years of doing this, and I still meeting new people in our community, making music in our town. And so I'm glad it worked out today that we're here, and we got a brand new record to talk about, and a big party on Saturday night. And so a lot to get caught up on, but I guess I know a little bit. I've been seeing the name recently a lot more, and but I don't know a ton about the group or your guys' history. I know we've talked a little bit before we hit record that you guys go way back. So let's kind of, where's your friendship start? Where does this band kind of get forming back in the?
Our friendship.
Yeah.
I remember meeting, my recollection is being 6 or 7 or 8 at Child Grove Middle School.
Elementary.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Elementary school, which is
And-
now a Masonic temple.
No, it was originally a Masonic
or
temple.
now
then
it's,
it was the school, and now
Scientology Center.
it's the Church of Scientology in New City.
So we were kids.
Yeah, I met Jeff when I was about 6 at school, and
We hit it off right away, as I recall.
6 was
Total bros.
6 was 45 years ago. So I've been buds for a very long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, while we were at school, we had another friend named Ed, and Ed and JK,
Ed D.
Ed D and JK, were starting to jam together or whatever. And
That was later.
it was later. I was 12, and
think
they
I was-
convinced me to get a bass guitar for my birthday.
Yeah.
So I bugged my mom about it, and I got a bass guitar on my 13th birthday, and I started learning Van Halen covers or something.
I think so. Did I get my first guitar? I was 12 or 13, I guess.
Yeah,
I wasn't 11.
I think it was 12 or 13. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just started kind of the garage band kind of thing.
We were basement, but yeah,
sure.
basement bands. And man, it's funny. I haven't thought about that in a long time, but when I think about it, it feels like that's all we did for like the next 5, 6, 7 years. Was to play music in the basement.
Yeah.
And then and then so I guess Gus came on the scene. Gus had been playing drums. Didn't he do like marching band or something? Like
Yeah,
he could read snare music and the whole business.
Yep. He was in marching band, and he was really, really into Rush.
Which made a connection with us. And we were talking about Mikey, our buddy here, Clayton Studios guy. We all knew each other, and he was a drummer. I don't know what the exact thing was. Somehow when we were all 15
I started
ish.
I was 14 when Gus
sort of got
started
together.
jamming. Yeah, you guys are all a year older than me. So yeah, you
Young
guys are
pup.
about 15. I was about 14. We started jamming with Gus. Ed switched to guitar. We didn't hang out with him musically anymore. So it was just the three of us, and we had a couple of band names. We had to pick a name when we got our first show at the original Bernard Pub.
Our first show, yeah. So now we just went forward another. Well, no, I think I was 17.
Yeah, I skipped
Our very
several
first
years.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah, but very first show. That's a good
yeah.
milestone.
So the original Bernard Pub, not on the Landing, but at Lafayette and Thurman, in the mid to late 80s.
I think it's 1988, maybe.
Something like that. Yeah.
And what was the name then?
The name for that show was Reckless.
Yeah.
Which we might go back to.
Yeah.
Because it's such a cool name.
And then we, after that, we kept thinking about band names and landed on The Other Side that was our final band name for a pretty long time, up until like 94, I think, is when
Now we're late teens, early 20s. I had gotten a Marshall by then.
Mm-hmm. No, we were in our early
Blah.
20s. This was like, we were fresh bar flies because we were just old enough to be, out and drinking and stuff. So that was the era of that. And then I took off and started.
And then all of a sudden there was Kennedy's, like the old Factory, First Rock, Bastiles, Duke, Club 367, the New Bernard. I can't even think.
Yeah.
If we like sat down and tried to make a list of all the places we played back then, it's like diametrically opposed. Like today, it seems like there's like a dwindling number of places to play, which is bums me out. But yeah,
it's always cool to me when I see new music venues opening up in town. Yeah. I've seen people kind of, turn down the idea that they think there's too many, and I'm like, if anybody wants to invest their money in what we're doing here in St. Louis music, like I'm all for it. Like if we was another platform, another stage to share. And I mean, I wasn't active then, but just being a little bit of a history, fan of history, like learning a little bit more through the stories and stuff. The city's definitely shifted a lot from the Landing and everything else. Like it's more
the Landing was Mississippi Nights,
right?
It went from the Landing to like Washington.
Right.
Now, like, as far as I know, there's no music scene on Washington. But,
right.
I mean, I never go down there anymore. But for a minute, there was the Galaxy and all that.
Yeah, Otherworld.
Yep.
We played at all those places too later, which were
pretty
great.
much like all the places we used to play are gone.
Oh yeah, all right.
But we did get to play Mississippi Nights once or twice.
Yeah, which was great.
Are you guys
Cicero's Basement Bar before they moved?
Oh, the basement, Cicero's Bar,
which is where the Duck Room is now.
Right.
Or it's like the Elvis Room or something.
No, it's the Duck Room.
Is it? Was it over that? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I worked in there, so
yeah.
the back steps are still there, kind of. I also think it's kind of funny because the ceilings were really low, though, so you'd kind of have to duck, and now it's called the Duck Room.
I get it.
So yeah, where we started playing shows, we made a record. But then after a while, I took off. I started a group called Celery with some other guys. And then that also ran its course. And then, the three of us moved off to different cities, like we were all like Chicago, New York, LA. And then we all ended up back here, I'd say 20 something years ago, like 2000-ish, and wrote a few more songs. Jeff had written some songs. We recorded them on my little reel-to-reel machine.
Purge.
We didn't really do anything with them, but we still kind of have them in our back pocket, and we're probably gonna, bring them back out at some point, or at least one or two of them.
Some of them are good songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we all ended up living here again, and after a while, we just kind of brought it back up. Same lineup, but different name, new songs, kind of a fresh start. Pretty much coming from the mind of JK. It's like pretty much his tunes through the filter of what we sound like as a group, which, I think we sound really good.
Yeah.
That's why we want to keep doing it, obviously. Like, you got to like what you're doing, or what's the point?
Right.
And how long was, like, you moved back from Chicago, and then, like, when did the three of us, now that we're talking about it, I'm sitting here thinking, I don't even know, like, was it 2013?
I moved back here in 2004, and I helped you. I drove up to help you move back.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
Like 2007, maybe?
No, it was like
2008. Oh, no, it was
2012 or 13. Well, but also for a while I was driving back and forth.
I mean, when you've been friends for 44 years, it's kind of difficult to remember which year things happened in.
Yeah.
So we got back here. We got that spot at Utopia when it was just you and I working on stuff. Then like Gus found out we were jamming again, and he was like, offered us a bunch of money if he could play with us. Remember?
And we were hurting. We were pretty strapped. So we were like, I guess.
Yeah. And we were like, nah, man. And then he was like, I'll give you a bunch of wine and rum. And we were like, okay, Gus. That's just trying to be funny. All right, give me.
So I guess so. I mean, like I said, long history. When does the band become what we know today as the Mercs?
I would say the band name was already a thing before the band became a thing. So I'm not really sure how that's relevant. I just said it anyway. We had our first show at Lemons about 10 years ago. If anybody remembers Lemons, we played there in like 2013, I think it was. At least that's what the photo file thing it says on my computer.
Did I have I had the Soldano at that show, right? There's nothing else I would have.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. What's my Soldano now?
Because I Soldano'd it to you.
Hey.
I get
Killer pride.
Yeah, I get that. That's good.
But that's
I'm laughing
like,
on the inside.
I don't care what amp. I'm doing the thing where it's kind of like, what girlfriend did I have at that time? Or was that when
It
I
helps you remember the year.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Like when I see pictures of us and I'd see the Friedman or the Soldano, now I'll see the Plexi. I'm like, oh, that must have been.
Yeah, JK's what people call a tone chaser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
say that's
Joan
accurate?
Taser.
A tone chaser.
Yeah, no, totally. It's part of it. Yeah. But anyways.
So, at that show, we were like, we're going to get into some recording. We're going to make a record pretty soon. 10 years passed. So now we have whatever. It takes as long as it takes. We got a record now. It's only 6 songs. It's clocks in at just under 38. 38. It's almost 40 minutes long.
It's epic.
Which is kind of, that's long. We're not really trying to cater to the short attention span people. We're doing what we always have done.
Right. And this is the debut record for the band as this lineup and
this
name.
incarnation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Yeah, I think
That's horribly offensive.
so big album release party, 10 years in the making, you said, and everything's we got CDs available, but should hit the digital platform Saturday also, or is that coming soon?
Bandcamp is
For now, we're doing CDs and Bandcamp,
right?
And eventually, we're going to put it on all the streaming and all that. But we're just kind of focusing on keeping it tight for a minute.
Yeah.
There's 2 songs already on Bandcamp that we released as singles that are on the record. The full thing, it's a matter of a few days at this point.
All
so,
right. And you've invited along Petty Grievances and Squircle the Destroyer to support this show.
2 killer bands.
$12 tickets, all ages, at Red Flag in St. Louis, Missouri.
Killer venue.
yeah.
I don't know if people who's listening has been there or not, but it's
Very nice. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I went to some of the, masked up, socially distanced kind of shows over there when they first kind of got open, because they opened in the middle of a pandemic, and
Crap, it was right.
Yeah. And it was but it was fun. I mean, like, we did what we had to do. But now it's really nice to see it packed out and proper rock shows back over there, and like that. I really like the whole like kind of industrial feel with the shipping containers and stuff. Like it's just really a fun vibe to it, and great
And
sound
system.
Yeah.
it's amazing that how good it sounds, and that it sounds good is amazing.
Yeah,
because of the shape of the room. And
I mean, it's a big box,
right?
I think it should be bouncy and messed up, but it sounds amazing. They really dialed it in. It's impressive.
I think Red Flag is the best live sound I've ever heard for a place that size or anything similar. Like, wow.
Yeah.
And that's the reason we are having it there. We, JK went and saw a different band that I play in do a show there.
Santiago.
Yeah, I play in Zantigo also. Just check out Zantigo. We're awesome. Anyway, we played and Jeff was like, holy shit, the sound is really good. I couldn't tell. I was on the stage.
Right.
You know, it sounds like whatever.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah. I was like, yeah, you guys were okay, but the sound.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then Spotlight.
Yeah,
played.
Spotlight's played after. And
So who played in between? Was one of the Fever?
it was Killing Fever.
Killing Fever. Everybody sounded. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, but like you could tell Spotlight's had a sound check earlier that day.
Yeah.
That was it was jaw dropping.
I felt like I was wearing headphones.
Yeah.
I mean, like, really loud, but everything was crystal clear, punchy. Like,
Yeah.
I can't say enough good stuff, but.
Well, let's get into this record. Give them a little sneak peek of what, like I said, you currently have 2 singles out on Bandcamp. So if you are itching to get some more, you can head on over to the mercs.bandcamp.com and you can get those. But we're going to give you a little taste right here. And let's start with one I picked that's not yet released, but I picked Colossus. This is I feel like
that would make this the debut of the song.
Yeah,
You're getting the debut track.
let's give them something to what they tune in for, man. This is but this was ton of fun. I really had no idea what to expect from the sound. You know, it's like that's the fun of live music, or you know, any music for me is like just hitting play and hearing what going along for the ride. And this track in particular, I felt was very much that. Like it definitely is a journey, and you get a lot of different sounds. And I don't know, I forget what 9-10. It feels like it's not about 9 minutes probably or something in there.
Yeah.
And
nice long noisy intro too.
Yeah, but this is this was a ton of fun to listen to, and but what can you guys tell me anything about this particular one? What comes to mind when you think about Colossus?
Well, the main riff is pretty old. I think of Colossus kind of as it's almost got a dronic, is that a word?
Yeah.
Drone-like quality to it. I don't know how to describe that.
okay, I can tell you how I feel about it. And maybe this is something to talk about after we listen to it, but I'll say it now anyway. For me, as a bass player, it's interesting because this song doesn't have a lot of changes. What I play repeats a lot, over and over and over again, for kind of a lot of minutes, and it never gets boring for me to play it, which is really saying something, because, you know, playing the same thing over and over again as a bass player is, you know, you start to drift off and start thinking about other stuff, and then you miss a change. That never happens with this song. It stays interesting somehow. It just, there's enough going on, and I can do little, you know, I play little variations of the same thing, so it's constantly evolving. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's fun for me.
There's a word for that in classical music, like Beethoven. Which one is dun 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 dun? Is that the fifth? Yeah. Like he takes that and he just does it a million different ways. Dun 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 dun. And there's some cool word for it, but I don't know what it is.
So basically, we're a Beethoven tribute.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. But I mean, what does people specifically want to know? Like, what is something? It's not really about. I know everybody says they're interested in lyrics or want to, like, what's the song about?
Sure.
I don't know if it's a.
Well, even I don't know. I feel like I always ask, but like it's always more. Oh, yeah. I mean, sometimes the question does go to lyrics. You know, I feel there are, you know, definitely there are lyrics in the song, but it's more. I feel, and as a fan, when I listen to this, I connect more to the arrangement of, you know, the actual instrumental parts to it more, and I typically connect to. I'm a lyrics guy typically, so but this was a lot of fun to hear the solos and different parts that you guys do in here, and like all the and there's a lot going on. Like it's a huge sounding song, and that's like, I'm like wondering, you know, for 3-piece, do you guys replicate all this live or pretty close?
There's like a good 10% of it that's just studio fuckery, but
I think it sounds bigger sometimes.
Yeah. Overall, this is what we do. This is what we sound like.
Yeah.
There's like a weird paradoxical thing I think that happens when you're a 3-piece band. You don't have to worry about stepping on anybody else sonically. Like the bass guitar occupies a certain frequency spectrum. Is that the right? Mm-hmm. And the guitar has one, that the drums have one, and everybody sort of has this wide open space to work in. Whereas if you're in a band with, there's like 2 or more guitar players and a keyboard and several people singing, they're all occupying that same range, and it can get crowded, and people like, we kind of do you ever think that about like you have this wide open space to fill, and it's like breathing room. It's
breathing room,
really
but
cool.
Also like there's space that you need to fill as well. Right. So it's not just like, I can't just go bum 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 bum. You know.
That's interesting. I don't know if there's like super like music dorks like us listening, but that it's a really interesting thing, because a lot of times people go see, you know, Motorhead or Rush or No Means No or whatever, like, how are those 3 guys? It's just 3 guys, but they you know, it sounds so huge, where it's like, in a weird way, it feels like you can be huger, if that's a word, because everybody totally can sense. You know.
That said, though, there's one song on this thing that's got guest musicians, and there's you know, cellos, there's pitch shifted cellos that sound like basses, there's
the lovely Hannah Silverman was kind enough to play cello on this record.
And we also have like 2 other. We've got Jessica Halbauer and Steve Lickenbrock, and there's like
mellotron and other keys. Stephen,
for one song, we're a 6-piece, and it's, you know, it gets pretty thick, and it's harder to mix the more instruments there are. You know?
Before work, right, yeah.
Well, are they going to help bring it to life at the show, or are you guys going to keep it as get the trio version of it?
We thought about it. We wanted to. Jessie, who sang on the record with her angelic voice, she's going to sing a bunch of stuff with us live.
Nice.
Basically, the adding the other 2 musicians, we didn't have time to put it together.
It would have been logistically
I feel like it's something we want to do, and we probably will.
Yeah. Nice. Well, and you guys are, you know, talking about recording. And you guys did everything here, or most of it here?
Almost nothing at this studio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you said previously you recorded here. Is that what you were saying?
we recorded. Yeah, we recorded here when we were in high school.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah, and now I work here.
Nice.
No, we recorded here. JK's mom got us a couple hours of studio time for a Christmas present one year, and we came and tracked some stuff.
Shout out to moms, man. You guys,
Indeed.
yeah.
Thank you, Zoe.
No, but this record was recorded at Utopia.
Okay.
And I run the studio there, so I just brought my inputs and my laptop down to our practice space downstairs and tracked it all in our own room. Other bands next door are blazing and all, and whatever. It's like, we cut out the background noise and it's fine.
That's really impressive to hear, because I've been over there. I've done podcasts in those rooms.
It can get loud, right?
I've done. I did one where we're like recording, and there's some metal band next door or whatever, and it just like double bass drums the whole time, and they just like
Totally.
something like that, and it's just like, well, we're gonna power through this. We're gonna get there. So, but yeah, it's always a good time over there in Utopia, and this so knowing that and what the final product sounds like, that's really cool to hear, like that it sounds that great, because I was listening and like I felt like the production value is top notch, man. It sounds great. So
thank you.
I really I was very impressed. I get to listen to a lot of music, and I was this sounded huge on in the car on the way down, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, man. So, but yeah, let's talk about another one. I guess
a song, any song.
Yeah. Well, I guess one of the singles that you guys released was El Captain, right?
El Capitan.
El Capitan, yeah. So, and this was another just fun one. I feel like this is slightly different than Colossus, though. Like, it's kind of
a little more frenetic,
right?
Dense, angular, energetic.
Yeah.
Well, it's got kind of.
But it's not like too derivative, but it also kind of shows a little bit of another side of what you guys do as a group. So
yeah.
But what about this tune? Anything?
Crap, man.
And why this one was picked as a single or anything like that?
I think you picked it.
Did I? Well, I honestly picked it because
It's a badass song.
it's a great.
Sure.
Yeah. But it being badass isn't why I picked it. I picked it because I was able to mix that one sooner than the others. We really like right up to the last minute with this record. We were gonna release a 4-song thing, which for us 4 songs is still kind of a long record. But I was like, hey, you guys, if we want to maybe finish a couple more, we can turn it into a full length and, not seem like EP chumps or whatever. EP chumps. That's our next band. And so, we dropped the Deja Voodoo single. It got a, pretty good response. I mean, we didn't like get propelled to greatness overnight or anything, but like some friends bought it, and that made us really happy. So, and then, we picked 2 more songs to finish up for the record, and that was one of them. And I was waiting on some little crazy noise that goes in the middle of the song. So of the other one, so I couldn't finish that one. This was the one to finish. So we just ran with it and put it out. And, we've been playing this song since our first show. I think we've been playing.
El Cap came later.
Okay. I believe you. It's hard to keep track. It really is.
The first show. Yeah, El Cap. Later.
Yeah,
I think it's like maybe 2016, 17.
Yeah, a little bit later.
But the Jenna was in the basement. I came up with that sitting there at the basement at Utopia.
Yeah. So in fact, I'll say this: the recording that you're listening to, we had been working on. We've recorded this stuff a bunch of times. 2017, we were playing a bunch of shows, and I felt like we were just getting really good at our live show, and we were getting tighter and better and more confident and more, just aggressively precise and that kind of thing. And we had this half-baked recording. I was like, this just doesn't sound as good as we do. We've got to start. I hate to say it, you guys, but we got to do it over. So we scrapped everything in 2017. And so,
and
we got pretty close.
You recorded a bunch of bands. You sharpened all your skills too, right?
Yeah, just doing a bunch of studio
That's
work.
What I remember. You were like, I've mic'd 50 drum kits and all different types. Like since we've recorded that record, if we go do it again, I can, and not just drum. The whole you cut your teeth.
Sure.
It seemed like a bunch in between.
Yeah, well, I mean, plus not just that, but doing like I do one of the audio crews for Lo-Fi Cherokee. So for a bunch of years in a row, I was doing that's a really tough but super fun gig.
Yeah.
Where I get to record between 4 and 6 bands that I've may or may not have ever heard of in a fresh location all in one day.
Right.
And, I don't always get to hear what I'm actually miking. So I'm just kind of like using mic placement that should work and looking at the meters to make sure they're in an okay spot, and then just find out what I get when I get home later.
Right.
So, and it turns out that it's for the most part, you can get good tracks just using your, thinking about what you're doing while you're doing it.
That seems hardcore, man.
It's not the best way to do it, but it's, it's Lo-Fi Cherokee.
Sure.
So that's kind of the idea. And then after doing that for a little while and recording other bands at the studio and stuff, I'm like, we can't drop what we've got as a record.
Yeah.
It just isn't as good. It probably would have been okay, but
I think I think some of that, like I always kind of look at records again. I think any artist always wants to put the best out. That's
For real.
a given. But I think that's also your goal as anybody, that you're constantly looking to evolve and get better and get along the way, like you're saying, as you're recording. But also, I look at records like snapshots, like they're just like, here's exactly what it was at this time, like and you would hope that the next one you learned from that, and then we get better and everything else, like so. But sometimes, like some of my favorite stuff, like are the basement recording, like kind of like going back to those lo-fi things, like and stuff. Like it's just like sometimes some of the, like I've had some of my friends' bands that like they send me their their demos, and I become attached to those, and I love the rawness of these demos and stuff. And then they go they go into the studio, and I mean, not that it's bad, it's just, but like there's something magical that's created on just that raw energy that's on that track that the first time, it's like. And so that's kind of, it's both of them, none of them are right or wrong or anything. But sure. I'm saying, but like it's just like, I think all fans have certain things that they gravitate towards as individuals. But I think as a band, I don't think anybody expects whatever absolute masterpiece. But you always want that. But like it's nice to say, hey, here's 4 songs we're working on right now, and here's the next record we'll have another group of songs or whatever we're working on at that time and stuff. So
yeah,
but we tried it when we were working on stuff. We try, because there's almost like a weird seductiveness in the studio where if you want, you could fix every little thing. And there's been like several things where they sound kind of funny. There's a thing in I can think of a whole bunch where we're like, let's just leave it. There's no, like if we're singing and we hit a really bad note, we'll either redo it or fix it or whatever. But
we try to keep it raw.
To your point. Yeah.
But like, when you're doing self-production, it's those lines get blurred pretty quick. And like, is this too raw or is this totally overproduced? I can't tell. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's, and again, like once you've listened to the song so many times, you're like, just like it all starts to run together. Sometimes you need especially as like I feel like as a group, like sometimes it helps having an outside perspective on, whether if it's a producer or somebody else another engineer to look at it, like, and like give their take on it and stuff. But
I think that would have been a great idea for us, but we didn't do that.
Sure.
We just went right up against the wall. And the funny thing is, like, I finished the mastering for the last few songs last Wednesday.
Yeah. All right.
Like, we're just like, if we get it done, it goes on the record. If we don't, it doesn't. And then, but we got it all done.
Yeah.
It was really up to the last minute, and we just didn't have a chance to say to our my other buddies in the audio world, hey, can you give this a once over?
Yeah.
It just didn't happen.
I mean, what about the irony of 15 minutes ago, we're like, it's taken us 10 years to make this record.
Right down to the wire.
Actually,
All right.
we're rushing to get it out, like cutting corners as if we were making it in like 4 days at the very end.
I mean, seriously, this box of discs came, they shipped Monday. We got them Monday, 10 years, and we got the discs the week of the show.
Right.
That's awesome.
No, I love it, man. That's rock and roll, man. That's what happened. You got it. But I think the record sounds incredible, and I'm excited for everybody else to give it a spin.
Right. Thank you.
And and it's gonna be a fun night, Saturday night, getting to see it all live. So come on out and join us. Kick off your holiday weekend with the Mercs. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully
But
people
you
are in
still have
town.
3 days to
Right.
recover from
Yeah.
Red Flag.
Oh yeah,
Party all weekend. Yeah.
that lake is going to be so crowded. You're not going to have fun
Right.
if you go out there. You want to be here in town.
Yep.
Crap, I'm just sitting here thinking El Cap's not really super linearly, discreetly about anything either. I mean, it is.
I think lyrically we don't really even have anything solidified. Like there's no real solid themes. There's like suggestions or images of certain ideas, but like even when it's really, even when like the theme of a song is really blatant, but that'll just be for one part of it. Like the chorus is like, oh, the chorus is about this, but then you get to the rest of the song and it's like. It's like a painting, it's
an abstract painting.
An abstract painting. Yeah.
Which is I suddenly like that.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Sure. Well, you guys said something, the early days playing, mentioning like Van Halen and Rush, and I guess Rush, maybe not too far up, but you guys have this kind of more experimental side of hard rock sounds. There's a lot of weird noises on the record, which is always fun to, and but where does that kind of the love of that kind of stuff, like where does this kind of that influence kind of come into what you guys do? I mean, because obviously it's not on a Van Halen record too much or some of those. I mean, like I said, Rush is very much a lot of jammy kind of thing where all kinds of different stuff, noises coming through there for the keys and everything else. But anyway, where do you guys think that experimental side of it comes from?
The experimental, like song structure, or the weird, talking about the
just
weird
the noises and all of it. I mean, like I just like, was there a certain records that really like blew your mind that opened it up to thinking about what else you could do with music like that?
For the guitar stuff, Jimi Hendrix, like master of feedback and weird noises. And then also like here's our drummer. Our drummer's here. Hey Gus, what's up?
Hey guys, what's happening?
Not much, man.
You guys ready to rock?
Totally ready.
Cool. I'm totally warmed up and ready to jam.
Yes. That was our drummer Gus, but he's going in the other room now. What were we talking about, Jimi Hendrix? But what was the?
We're talking about the crazy noises.
Yeah.
I'm just a sucker. This is probably totally uninteresting to anybody that's listening, but when electric guitars feedback and go crazy and you do pick scrapes and whammy bar, like all that stuff, it just sounds beautiful.
Yeah. Is it
To
like
me, for some reason I can't. I always struggle with that. I always want to put it all over the record,
right?
and somehow Tezu and I find like a good way to get it on there.
Is it like calculated, or is it like happened by accident the first time and you're like, hey, wait, let's try to do that again, like
noise
that
stuff?
noise or whatever? Like, is it
The spots where they happen, the placement, I guess, is sort of calculated. Like,
right? Well, I'm saying, like, is the first time like you're like, what was that noise? Like, what, or something like that. Like, I don't know. Is it come from like noodling around or?
Oh yeah, that happens.
Right.
Yeah, different.
Just find different pedals and they got
like the electric guitar is like this, like seemingly endless reservoir of sounds.
Right.
Even though, like we were saying, Jimi Hendrix did stuff, 50 plus years ago.
Right.
And there's still, you can still find new, like as opposed to something like a piano or a saxophone where you basically, you select, which are beautiful, gorgeous instruments, but you select notes, you can hit them hard and let them sustain for a certain amount of time, but that's kind of it.
Right.
Guitars, basses, you can scrape them and you can pull whammy bars, push whammy, but
you can do a lot of crazy stuff with as they call it, prepared piano too. You can make pianos do weird stuff.
I don't know what a prepared piano.
You like put some tin foil in the strings and it makes a weird sound.
Wait a minute. What?
We'll do. We'll mess with that on the next one.
I think we should try tin foil, saran wrap, yarn.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. Do you like the weird noises? This is something we were like always wondering about.
Yeah, I do. I like. I'm not
Somebody likes noises.
I'm not a player. I'm not a musician by any means. So I just wondering how that is created. That's the only reason I'm really asking all this stuff because it feels like a lot of it's. I feel like there's elements of it. I feel like it could be, improv or, like come from that. And then it's like, then it'd be, let's take it to the record. Kind of comes from that jamming. But I didn't know if like you learn like, oh, well, if I turn this knob all the way this way, and all these different things like
it's that, but
everything you said is part
right.
of it, yeah.
But it's not predictable in the sense that like you would be able to replicate it ever. Like
right.
when you get in there and you like crank your gain and start messing with pedals and doing funny stuff and you get a cool noise and you're like, that's a cool noise.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I'm recording it because it's never gonna happen again.
Yes. And there's something gorgeous about that. There's some cool.
Sure.
I don't know what it is, but yeah.
So if you see us doing the noises live, it will be different.
Yeah.
And it
could be its own single thing that happens. Yeah.
And it might not be cool.
Yeah.
It might be
It's hit or
cooler.
miss.
You never know what you're gonna get. There's no predicting it.
That's live music, man.
To answer there's the improv element is totally part of it.
Yeah.
Now I can't remember what else he said. Damn it. But yeah.
You mentioned in Hendrix, and my mind went to I have good friends in town, the Sophisticated Babies. They are a tuba and ukulele duo, and they're two members of Funky Butt Brass Band also.
Oh yeah,
Adam Hookie and Cody Henry, and. But Sophisticated Babies, they are one of the most entertaining acts you can see around town. And
Sophisticated Babies.
And they
I'm intrigued.
They've one, like, we kind of talking about maybe you guys as a trio and the sound that you create. It blows my mind to hear the songs that these guys replicate with a tuba and ukulele. Like they're how obviously it's not perfect to the record, but the way that they can create it on the stage with those two instruments is really impressive. And I've seen them do Hendrix and Adam takes his uke and throws it against the amp for feedback and all that. And it's one of the coolest. It's one of the coolest things. And
you put the hook in me, guy.
Yeah, it makes me smile so much, and I just I love it. And but I mean, they do Beatles, they do Beck, they do Deborah, which is one of my favorites. And
do they sing? Is there vocals or is there?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And then And I think that's maybe the highlight, really. The biggest shocker is Adam's range, because he'll go from something really high, like a Deborah or something, and then like the next song he'll do like Green Jelly's Three Little Pigs or something, and like the total other end of the spectrum, like growling and screaming in there and stuff. And so they don't play a ton as the duo, but it is, if you get a chance to see it, go see it, because they are so much fun. But it's those guys just again, just like have a great time having fun up there on stage and making crazy sounds. So
weren't you going to be in Green Jelly at one point?
I jammed with those dudes for a bunch of times, and they are extremely cool dudes. Except I can't remember. There was one of the guys was Lou. One of the guys was somebody Manspeaker. That's his last name. And a couple other guys. Yeah, I lived in Los Angeles for a while, and I worked at a bookstore, and a guy came in one day. My friends are looking for da-da-da, 'cause he knew I played guitar, and it happened to be those guys. They had their own production company on Sunset Boulevard. Green Jelly Productions had this big thing. And we jammed a bunch of times, and it was a blast.
Nice.
And they were super cool. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. That would, be wild to think about what would have happened if you would have took that
I think
gig.
about it a lot. I'm like, damn, what if because I was like, I'll tell you what, guys, I'm going to go do my own thing. Like, I'm a super artist, and I'm not going to, And they said to me, they said, that's exactly what we are. They're like, just play it. If you want to jam with us for a while, we'll be your springboard and blah, blah, blah. And for some reason, it fizzled. I was still like, and they were, whenever Tool's in town, we got backstage and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I was like, but I loved, those dudes, there was all these giant prosthetic heads laying around the, or have you seen, they made a video.
I've seen that,
Yeah.
Super cool, dude.
I just had a conversation at work. It's completely unrelated, but just the idea of the decision process, like because we this week they said that Ryan Seacrest is replacing Pat Sajak on Wheel of Fortune. So Pat Sajak's retiring after doing
Ryan Seacrest Assassins.
That's what I was thinking.
Right.
Brian Fleshett, if you're listening, you have to start the Ryan Seacrest Assassins.
Yeah, right.
We have a friend, their band.
So Seacrest, I was thinking about.
Wow.
I was thinking about I was telling a buddy about Brian Dunkelman, who was on American Idol the first season, and decided that, according to the story, that he said that the show wasn't going anywhere, so he left, and that became one of the biggest shows ever.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And Seacrest is now one of the most successful.
Guy. All right, I'm just trying. He's like the English guy who's like grumpy on the.
That's Simon Cowell.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Brian Dunkelman was like a co-host. There was originally two co-hosts of the show. It just makes me laugh that he was like, "Nah, this isn't going anywhere," and then becomes like one of the most successful shows of, the early 2000s.
You don't know what people are going to latch on to,
right?
You don't know. There's millions and millions of people out there.
Yeah, it's just
whatever.
Yeah, but it. Just funny to think about where Brian Dunkelman's at and where Seacrest is at. Just like you never know. Life's a series of decisions. You don't know what path's going to take you. But so
if you knew, you'd only make good ones.
Sure. Yeah. Right. But yeah, hopefully we'll get another new band out of this this announcement. So yeah. Again, snag your tickets Saturday night. Join us at the Red Flag in St. Louis, Missouri, and celebrate this record. I'm sorry, what's the name of the album?
INTRANAUT.
INTRANAUT. And is that come from a lyric, or is this? I'm not sure what that what INTRANAUT is.
I could really just a made up word.
Yeah.
Which I hope it. Okay, so the suffix "naut" NAUT is like Voyager or seeker. An astronaut.
Right.
Is a star Voyager. Cosmonaut is a Cosmos Voyager, whatever. So we just took intra as in inside yourself.
Going internal.
Yeah, it sounds so goofy when I try to.
I don't think it sounds goofy.
Yeah.
It sounds goofy because you.
No, the word
sound
sounds
goofy
cool.
when you
Me
talk.
talking. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Which is why I'd rather be an intranaut instead of trying to,
Yeah, I
'cause
mean,
I
it,
sound stupid when I
it
talk.
means self-exploration.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like that movie where they shrink the guy into a pill and he goes in.
We were talking about that at practice the
Yeah,
other
what's it
night
called?
with Martin Short or Dennis Quaid or something.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not that.
Flacco Klabendorf or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, so it's a self-exploratory album.
Oh,
Nice.
And that's where all the weird noises come from. That's
Yeah.
actually the sound of your spleen if you get really close.
Oh.
I was just gonna say it's almost like a full circle thing, because we talked about El Cap, and before that we talked about Colossus, and I kept saying I don't know if the songs are about anything. It's funny at the same time all the songs are about the same thing, which is like, why am I here? What's going on? Existential introspection or something.
Nice.
Yep.
That
Yeah,
sounds
man.
cheesy, but I can't help it. I mean, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's it's fun to hear like how the ideas behind all this, like what the thought process that goes in. I mean, that's kind of the fun thing is I think naming a record or naming a band or any of that stuff. I mean, there's it's hard to come up with something different that stands out and stuff, but I think you guys did it. I think like it's not, obviously if you're but we come out and snag one of these CDs, fresh, hot and fresh, man. They're
And t-shirts.
Yeah.
If you're at the show, we got multiple kinds of t-shirts, tank tops, stickers.
Got it all.
I'll probably order some buttons tomorrow.
Buttons, pins, buttons.
Yeah.
We will be
Boutons.
selling
And
hang gliders that say the Mercs across them.
yeah.
That's not true.
I got a couple questions for you guys. Get your take on these. And speaking of merch, I always have fun with one that about. Say we the day comes along and we have a Mercs like box set of action figures. What would you guys like to see as your like 2 or 3 accessories to go with your action figure?
Accessories for the action figure. You can go first.
Oh, no, you have to
I
talk
know
about
one.
things.
I know
You
one.
go.
I would want to be one of the, they make those little, I have some of these at home. It's like a little plastic guy just like this, but they have strings and a little parachute, and you wrap up the parachute
Oh,
and
yeah.
throw the whole thing up in the air.
Right.
I'd want to have that.
That's pretty good.
Maybe like a sandwich or some whiskey or something.
What kind of sandwich?
Veggie.
Yeah,
Vegetarian, be a veg.
Black bean burger.
But I get down with veggie. Yeah, black bean patty or, this is a big can of worms, man. Sandwiches. We could talk about sandwiches or sandos or sandroids.
Do you have a favorite spot in town?
Spot.
A favorite sandwich spot?
Witch the other day.
Witch is good,
Is that a
but
chain?
I gotta say,
bring it.
real quick. I'm not vegetarian anymore, and but I have been, and maybe I'll go back. But I think that the vegetarian sub at Pointers
Oh, yeah.
is it's
Like right over there.
it's fantastic. It's right across the street. They're not a sponsor. I'm just backing them up. I've been ordering that sandwich for decades. The deal is you can't just eat it right out of the oven. You have to leave it in the wrapper for a while, so it gets kind of like sweaty and like all the ingredients commingle. And then if you're just like, I would never eat a vegetarian sandwich, I'm no commie, then just order it and add bacon or whatever, It's delicious that way too.
Yeah.
What about the didn't you used to get the veggie Reuben at Mochabee's?
All the time.
This is an awesome spot,
Yep.
by the way.
I had it last week,
Yeah, killer.
2 weeks ago.
Oh, I've never had a veggie sandwich there, but I just want to say that the Arbor Cafe, which is this little Albanian/Italian place right around the corner from where my girlfriend and I live, is really, really good. Especially their breakfast. We went there
Yeah.
a couple times.
It's real good.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a little family, it's a family-owned spot, really small. But, oh, man.
I mean, if you want to get into the
It's my favorite
vegetarian discussion, we could elongate
Right.
this podcast for
But that's
What do you got? Bring it.
that's some of my favorite stuff though. I love. I mean, I love sandwiches, but I go and we have a lot of really cool spots around town, and
Oh yeah.
it's fun to highlight some of our little best kept secrets around the city.
What's the jam? Jesse always wants to go there. I want to say it's called La something, LaGrange, LaGrand. LaGrand. Is it on Watson or something, or near Watson?
sorry.
Damn it, Hampton.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Damn it.
I've heard of it. I haven't been there.
It's another little indie.
I think
like,
after the
family-owned-
record release, we should like go celebrate and have a sandwich there.
Yeah.
Then I'll know.
Yep. Yeah. What
It
about?
feels like when we lived in Chicago, there was a million. Like I can think of. I think I just went for more sandwiches.
Yeah, but Chicago. The thing is, you
lived
could go
there.
back to Chicago and nothing about it is the same.
Yeah. Plus, that's I don't. Maybe it's like COVID. I feel like I haven't gone out and got that many. I make sandwiches at home like
Sure.
a madman. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're listening, drop by JK's place for a sandwich.
All right. What Tazu, you got any accessories you think would
Accessories.
what goes with your action figure?
I don't really. I don't know. A machete.
Machete.
I can think of a bunch of stuff that would go.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You tell me.
Well, first of all, if they're does it come with a base?
I mean, sure, action
No, I
figures.
think like if you buy the
Is there
Tazu
accessories?
action figure,
Yeah.
it comes with
Oh, yeah.
it already the basic model already has a base and
What-
probably a microphone.
What's the base you choose? Do you think do you have like a dream base you would like to have with your or just the one you play with now? or-
No.
I want to hear the answer.
No, I honestly don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Make something up. Make something up.
Okay.
I wanna hear-
I want. I don't have a dream bass. I don't care. I've been playing bass so long, you can just hand me anything, any 4-string fretted bass, and it'll probably work.
Sounds really good.
It just has.
feels really good.
Yeah, I want something bright with a distortion pedal. Okay. You'd have to break into the punk rock. What is it? The museum that they just opened.
Don't get me started on that thing, dude.
Because
Oh, Rob, right.
from what I understand, the Rob Wright from No Means No put his bass in a cabinet there. But if I had that one,
he put it there. Or
well, they got it. They got it from him. It's
Yeah,
not
was
like
he involved in any way? I'm just curious.
if he wasn't involved, it wouldn't be there. But if I had it, everybody would be coming for me to like chop my head off and
With
claim
that
it for
machete.
their own. You know, with that's what the machete's for.
I think it would be better in your hands than in a. Oh, it's in Vegas.
It's in Vegas,
that
but
museum.
yeah, but in Vegas,
won the
it's
Stanley
a
Cup.
dry heat, so it'll never rust.
It's such a fine line.
Anyway,
between
Rob Wright's
dry
my favorite
and
bass
tie.
player, so maybe the accessory would be like the No Means No box set,
Nice.
which would really
Yeah.
catapult the price of my action figure.
Everybody would buy the action figure for that.
Just to get the like, who the fuck is this guy? Some fan?
Yeah. What we talked early too about a bunch of the great venues that have long passed, but what was your guys' first concert memory? Do you guys
Not us playing, but
going as a fan? Yeah. What's the first show you guys remember?
My mom drove me and JK and our first drummer Ed D. If you're listening, I know you're not listening, but hi. My mom drove us to SIUE to see Van Hagar.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, Van Halen with
That was
there.
that was the first concert that I like picked out.
Yeah.
You know, I've listened to the Van
cool
Hagar
is your
stuff
mom?
since then, and I'm like, woof.
Oh, it's brutal. That first record, at least, though, it's had some.
It's-
yeah. Now I listen to it now, it hurts. But how can I just? How cool is your mom? Because she drove us out there. Like dropped us off. We went into the concert, and she just doesn't have family or friends there. She just
She hung out in the
sat in
car
and did
in the
stuff.
parking lot for the whole
Like, oh my god,
thing.
that just,
Yeah.
that's some selfless, super.
So that wasn't my first concert
Sure.
because I had gone to a bunch of concerts. But you know, my dad was in a group and I'd seen them play and like, and then
Human Arts Ensemble, right?
Yep. If you're into, you know, free experimental jazz music. That's the stuff I grew up in the middle of. Completely separate and different in most ways from what we sound like, but that experimental element is still there, and I think that's a cool thread that you can call common. Nice. And then they would take me to see other people perform that were their friends, and some of them are people that I still am involved with now. Greg Mills, the pianist, if you ever heard of him, he's like a experimental piano player. There's a whole free jazz scene that I'm just kind of loosely connected to, and I think it's really
jazzy.
Yeah. And well, you work in a studio, you stay connected to all kinds of stuff, and you have to really learn how to appreciate stuff that you wouldn't necessarily seek out, but then by the time you're done working on it, you're like legitimately a fan of it some of the time. Anyway, back to the topic. What concerts did we go to?
Yeah. Whenever I have this conversation, one thing that jumps out, like the most mental shift, like life-changing concerts, shows, or whatever I've been to, the first one that sticks out is Fugazi. It was either... Well, there was Fugazi at the Bernard Pub, but I think it was Fugazi at Mississippi Nights, and it was either I think the 13 Songs tour was at Bernard. What came after 13 Songs? On the Killtaker or Steady Down, whatever. I saw Fugazi at Mississippi Nights when I was in my late-ish teens, and it was
$5,
life-changing. Yeah. Nice. Like it was, and this is obviously pre-internet. It was just like the cool guys were like this band, or it was the guys from Minor Threat, have another record out. They're called Fugazi now, and they're playing at Mississippi Nights. And like, thank God I went, because I don't remember buying tickets or knowing that much about it ahead of time. But I went, and I remember before that show, and I remember after that show. Yeah. As in, it was there was like me and what I thought of music pre that, and then there's after that, and the two things are different. Danzig there's a Mississippi Nights recurring theme. Yeah. Danzig's first tour, I remember being like floored at how good they were. There was no color in the lights. I don't know why I remember that.
Dark. Everyone was wearing black.
Yeah.
Everyone's skin was super pale.
Yeah,
the lighting was just plain white lighting.
But I remember it had
the crowd was violent as fuck.
Yeah, I remember him giving ice water. Everybody was smashed up in the front.
If I remember right, there was one of the security dudes was smashed between the stage and the barricade, and apparently broke his leg or something like that. But
at that Danzig show first tour,
that's what I heard.
Man, I
didn't see it with my own eyes.
I worked security at Broadway Oyster Bar, so I kind of became a fan of watching security, like seeing stuff at the different club shows and stuff, and how they handle things. And there was a night I went as a fan to see a group, Blackstone Cherry, that I like, over at Blue Note in Columbia.
Blue Note!
Yeah, great space.
Yeah.
And they're not like particularly rowdy, but this guy, the dance floor filled up, and this guy was trying to get his way to the front and started pushing people, bumping. And he bumped me, and I'm like, I'm not going to cause a scene, but I knew the way he hit me that he was going to hit the wrong person, and they weren't going to be as kind about it. And and that's what happened. And he got to the point where he got up front and he hit somebody, kind of pushing his way through instead of just saying excuse me or anything. And somebody pushed back, and then and then the girlfriend, he was with his girlfriend or somebody too, or wife or what, I don't know, who knows. And she's like, she gets involved too. And then so they're like this like a little fight going on. And so security comes down, and then the guy turns and punches the security guard. And then another guy grabs him and puts him in like a sleeper pretty much, drops him to the ground and grabs the guy like by his belt and like carries him out to the front of the venue. And I was like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, I'm like, I hope this guy's okay. But I'm like, just like, don't fuck around with these guys. That's their job. Like they're gonna, they're gonna do what they got to do to protect everybody else in the room. And but there was like, as a again, I was just like in awe of like that was the way they handled it and how fast everything was. Like they shut down the situation, isolated the guy, got him out of there, and like,
Nice.
but I was just like, it was one of the craziest things I've seen at a show. Like just the way that put this, carried him out by his belt. Like,
There was a brief period where like the security detail at Mississippi Nights would get rough on a regular basis, probably just because that's how the crowd was or whatever.
Right.
But we would go down there and just kind of sit across the street and watch people get thrown out of that place in various states, just lips split all the way, teeth missing, blood pouring out.
all right.
Don't fight the security guard.
Oh yeah.
I would love to play at the Blue Note. Is the Blue Note? Is it still there and having shows now?
Yeah, very much. And then there's it's Rose Music Hall now. It used to be Mojo's and everything around that corner.
Oh,
And
in Columbia.
Yeah.
We were gonna play somewhere in Columbia once and we signed a thing. Do you remember this?
Mm-mm.
We had to sign a thing. I remember thinking it was so cool that we were actually. I don't know if it was a contract, but it was like a legal type document. Man,
Was it like agreeing that we wouldn't show our nipples or something?
no, it was just like like the other side or whatever, and we agree to play on this night, and it will start at this time, and we will get paid this much, and blah blah blah. And it had like the carbon copy things, like I remember lifting and tearing off, and remember it was, and we did it here. And we didn't, for some reason, we didn't play. Something happened. Damn it, we signed a contract.
No memory of that. Yeah. So if you're listening, now that we are we don't.
what's the statute of limitations? On that?
We can still do that show.
Yeah, right.
Good. Yeah. I saw a band. There was a band from Columbia a long time ago. If anybody's interested in cool music, called East Ash.
Oh yeah.
That was so good. And I saw them. My sister used to work at the Blue Note.
Yeah.
I think maybe she just went there all the time. But
She worked at the Blue Note.
she like booked there or whatever. I think right.
Did something.
And we got to
Book
go
or manage.
see, not the Descendants, all.
Mm-hmm.
We went out there and all that. But man, East Ash. And there's a band called Currer Bell from Columbia back then that was really good. But East Ash. And they had a record called Ellie and a record called Crushing a Flood, I think. They're both killer records. I'm just saying. Okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
Going way back.
Yeah, man.
That's my late 80s.
Well, guys, this has been a ton of fun. I really enjoyed our chat and getting to meet you all and getting to experience another great St. Louis band. And I'm really excited for everybody else to hear this record and give it a spin. And again, like I said, release party Saturday night, July 1st. Red Flag, St. Louis, Missouri. Tickets available right now. It is an all ages event. $12 for tickets, and you got Petty Grievances and Squircle the Destroyer, and we'll have CDs, shirts, all the merch. We got Bandcamp for right now, and keep an eye out for the digital release someday later. We can add it to your playlist then and things, but you can find more info from the band. I guess is Facebook maybe the best place, or do you have what do you guys besides Bandcamp?
Bandcamp, Facebook, Instagram. That's pretty much it right now.
those are the big ones.
We're old fuckers, and we don't really.
That's right.
we're not like the kings of TikTok or anything.
Sure.
Maybe one day we'll figure that out. But
What's TikTok?
Yeah.
it's like how the clock. Never mind. Also, I just want to say, like, even if we weren't playing Saturday, even if you had to leave before our set, it's worth it to show up to see the other two groups. They're both very fantastic. We handpicked them. This isn't going to be one of those things where, like, the openers suck, so you get to skip them. I mean, you get to skip them because it's your life, but that would be a bad decision.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
Squircle starts at 8. I think.
Yeah. In fact, it's that they got a record on Bandcamp that, and streaming as well. That is a very, very good record, which I recorded while I was bartending with one of those Zoom things that you're using.
Right.
The same one.
Yeah.
And it sounds great.
Yeah.
Like it seriously sounds great. I think.
Nice.
Check out Squircle for sure.
I'll do that, man. Because I've seen the name. I follow a lot of what we have going on, obviously, and so you see posters and things, and I plug a lot of events in town. So it's like a lot of times I know the name, but I haven't got the chance to experience the sound. So I need to pull them up and give it a listen, man.
This version of Squircle is a 2-piece, and it's big and loud and incredibly musical, and it's all instrumental stuff, but it's
huge,
very
big,
good.
interesting. Interesting. Yeah.
Very cool.
I like it.
Well, come on out and have a good time with us. And we've got this, but do we have goals for the rest of the year or anything else coming up that we really want to continue to do with this record? Or do you guys see yourself branching out a little bit and doing any kind of shows, regionally or anything else?
Totally. I think of this particular show, July 1st, Red Flag record release thing, as it's like our
springboard.
Yeah. Like our big
Launchpad.
watershed. Yeah. So even if you can't go to this show, come to the shows afterwards because it'll get better and better. This is like our first. I'm almost like, this is our first real show.
It's not. We've been playing,
which is not true.
tons of shows. We still probably will play free shows at CBGB and stuff.
100%.
But we would probably want to get out there regionally and bug all the venue owners for cool opening spots and stuff like that.
I would. I just think obviously, you guys are the best buds, and it'd be fun to hit the road with your buddies and make a weekend run or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
That's
absolutely, and we have so many places in range. Chicago, Kansas City.
We are actively shopping for a van, so
the van.
DM me if you have anything for sale
in my van.
Okay. Well, cool. Hopefully, Mercs coming to a town near you, maybe. So,
I hope so.
But thank you guys so much, and again, big shout out to Clayton Studios for letting us hang out today, and appreciate you guys doing this.
Shane, I also want to say thanks to you. And
thanks.
It's good to meet you in person finally, and I feel like our electronic friendship is now realized, and now that we've met in person, we're actual friends.
Yeah, been a long time coming for sure. And that's it's cool that when it starts online, a lot of times these days, and we a fan of each other from afar, and then we kind of finally get to properly meet doing a podcast like this, man. So or whatever it is, or a show. That's a lot of times I meet people at shows, and then it's you don't even really get to talk to people because you're screaming over a band or something like that. And it's this is not, so that's what's fun about having a podcast, having this opportunity where we can actually get and talk and get to know each other. So, So yeah, I'm glad it worked out today, man. This was really cool. So
can I read this statement from Gus Nanos, our drummer who couldn't be here?
This is a prepared statement from Gus.
Here it is. That says, "Hello, everybody. I just wanted to say that JK is the best guitar player I've ever seen in my whole life. And I hate wine. I hate Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Here, you read the rest, Tattoo. It's all inside jokes." Oh, yeah, that page.
I have never been to anywhere cool except that one time where JK met me at the My Little Pony factory.
You nailed it. That's it. It's hard to read his writing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well,
and I just want to say I'm going to practice drums at home by myself 8 hours a day from now on.
Well, I'm really glad he prepared that statement. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Shane Presley. You rule Rock Paper Podcast.